I needed a drink, and we're out of waters.
If there's anything I can ever do, you'll find in the
We're out of waters, and then I ate something spicy.
Supreme Court.
That did the opposite. No, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, okay, you still got to look. I'm gonna take some. Yeah. Thank you, David.
You have my coffee.
All right, I think we're all back. Gang's all here. Miss Maxwell, are we good on the feed? Thank you. All right, we have come to the funnest part of the budgeting cycle, the sheriff's office. Miss Woolley, it's an honor.
Thanks.
We're back from recess. All right. She's got the big binder, don't you worry.
Binder.
Just in case my computer doesn't work.
Do you want to join us in this little chair over here in the corner? Yeah. Chief Deputy Woolley, thank you for joining us tonight.
Got a strong back for that binder.
Thank you.
Like to make a motion to put Fund 1000.0400 County Sheriff on the table for discussion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Justice is just, I don't know. I may be speaking to the wrong budget, but I'm just going to say, whenever we put all of the numbers together early on for all these budgets, when we receive all the budget, so we put it out there and we get everyone's budget requests, basically. What's your request compared to last year? What are we looking at? We were looking at a deficit in county general. Just the same issue we're talking about before with projections. Especially in county general, we keep a really sharp eye on, are we spending less than what we're bringing in, right? I just call that family budgeting method, really. Are we spending less money than what we're bringing in? And then being very intentional about anything over that. Does it exist in a one-time expense capital outlay that we then count against our carryover? Does that conversation make sense? All right, I just want to make sure I'm jiving here. So when we looked at it all, did the math, everything else, basically we had to come back. The sheriff's office asked for an $80,000 increase in one of their overtime budgets that is in county general. I reached out to Miss Woolley. We had a discussion. We were able to trim that back this time around to make sure the numbers work. Just like you saw in our ordinance that we passed earlier in the meeting, a lot of times they're able to take full-time salaries at the end of the year, transfer them into overtime, because there's so much that goes unspent in those full-time salaries because of vacancies within the sheriff's office. So I just wanted to set the stage for that. They did cut at my request. They did cut some of their county general request so that we could get in line with where we needed to be overall with our county general budget. So, any discussion on Fund 1000 Department 0400? Ms. Woolley, anything you want to say?
Originally, to speak to what you just spoke about, originally we had added, I believe, 10,000 to the sheriff department 0400 to the overtime there, but we took that out. So we balanced it even. We didn't ask for any additional funds. The only expenses we pay for this out of 0400 in county general is for salaries and benefits. So we leveled out our increase in overtime based on the request to make sure we met available to appropriate countywide in county general. We leveled that out to what we have existing. But that doesn't mean we won't be back in front of you next year, possibly. It just depends on how things level out. So.
And you see we lost some positions, our dispatchers basically in the 911 PSAP consolidation with the city of Conway. They took those dispatch positions.
What is the new clerk position that was not funded last year?
It's not a new clerk. The clerk position, if y'all recall, it was actually over in the jail department last year, and we transferred it from the 0418 department over to the 0400. We do a cost of inmate cost report annually, and based on just the workload that clerk is currently, or will be doing once we fill that position, it's currently vacant. It will be more so on our overall SO administration. Still has duties that involve jail purposes, but just to have it align and not necessarily be a jail position, we transferred it. So that was an existing salary. If you look at last year's budget, it was just over there. Same position number.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Woolley, I'm just looking through here, some of your positions. What about our IT coordinator position? That position sits at 59 and some change here. Didn't we increase that?
Yes,
This
it was,
past
I
year.
believe in May, we came before the quorum court and asked for an increase. And so that's what that ordinance number is, listed above it. So that's the annual increase.
Oh, sorry. Okay, my sheet looks different than what
I
I'm
was gonna
looking
say,
at
I
on the
don't
screen
have
there.
an ordinance number on that.
Yeah, yeah. We may just have an older version of this budget before it was.
Yeah, I think, because I was looking at two, it says calendar year 2025 on the top here.
Oh,
That they
okay.
have up there and on our tablets is 2026, so I had to switch to the tablet.
Okay, okay.
It looks like everything but for the sheriff is calendar year 2026.
So the tablet's correct, though.
Tablet is correct. And what's on the screen is correct.
That'll work. Y'all know it takes a team to put all this
So
together.
all of them are 20,
Yep, all of them are
25.
2025.
Yeah, just use the tablet. Okay, good. I'm gonna give y'all a minute to get over there.
The only other salary increase was a position that was awarded, or granted by the quorum court for another school resource officer. I believe that was in September, for Mount Vernon Enola School District, and that is the position 1348. It's fully reimbursed monthly by that school district. We bill them monthly, and then we get a check into the treasurer's office.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
updated our projected revenue to reflect that
Okay.
as well.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Yes.
On salaries, one of the big things is obviously we want to be able to pay our deputies and everybody competitive rates. Does the sheriff's office, either on an annual basis or whatever, do they look at other counties our size to make sure that we are competitive? How much turnover do you know that you're losing potentially deputies to other places that are higher paying? So how do we remain competitive in Faulkner County?
So for quite some years now, we have done a salary survey just based on the stipulations that the quorum court actually set forward. And we have presented that usually annually, either in September to November. When we did that analysis this year, it was during the same time that we were preparing our budgets and also realizing that we were not going to be able to request what we needed for our existing expenses, and also take on a possible COLA for our existing employees. So we did not do a presentation to ask for any increases based on the salary survey. There was positions that, we use the AAC salary survey that they post on their website. There was some positions that would fall short, but based on the 3% COLA, we believe that and we've said this in years past too, when you look at it overall, it would be a majority of our employees would benefit based on the 3% COLA versus us trying to push for our salary survey increases first and work against, per se, the 3% COLA. So we would suggest we made sure that our budgets matched where we could go ahead and align with everyone else to be able to meet the available to appropriate, whether it be in county general departments that our positions are paid for, or the positions that are paid for in criminal justice. And so we just built that in, and then after the first of the year, when Scott knows what the carryover numbers are, and he revises those and makes the ordinance for those, I believe it's usually March or April, then we will look at seeing if we need to come before the court and ask for any kind of just one position, based on title, who fell short still.
Thank you. And as far as our staffing is concerned, are we where we need to be with the growing county? I mean, are we looking at potentially having to add on deputies? I mean, can you speak to
I will only say one thing and I'll let Chief Deputy talk. So years back when one of our jail captains came before the quorum court, I'm not sure if any of you were on the quorum court or not at the time, but we presented a staffing survey for our jail staff. And even, I think that was maybe approximately 2018 when he presented that. Based on that data, and he also used the help of Sterling Penix, which is in charge of jail standards for our prison systems that come and inspect our jails. They said that we were short-staffed, I believe 9 to 11 positions at that time. So we know we're short-staffed within our jail facilities already. But just to be able to ask for 10 new detention officers, it's over $600,000 with their salaries and benefits. I said this to our own staff in our administration meeting the other day, because a lot of our jail administration now are new lieutenants and things like that, and they're not as aware of how our budgeting works in quorum court, and so I try to inform them and teach them of the process, and they're hearing when they're doing their jail inspections recently that, that they need additional staff. But this is the first time they've heard that, because they haven't been in the administration role until now. So we told them, we are aware of that, but it's just like, when you're running your household, you have to take care of what's there and present right now first before you can add on additional things. And so we have to make sure our people are paid adequate where they won't leave us before we can try to address adding on additional staff. We want to, we desperately need to, but we do not have the funding. And it's just the sheer amount of it. And that's only speaking on the jail staff. I know that Chief can speak more on the patrol side for sure.
So, back to your first point, we will never be able to compare to municipalities, state police. I mean, you can go over 2 blocks and start out making $20,000, and I'm rough talk there, $20,000 more a year. And that's just probably a difference in a municipality and a county. I don't play too much in effect of that, because I know realistically we can't meet that. But we are a growing county, and this county expects a certain level of service out of us. And that level of service takes money. We could use more deputies. We could use more investigators. We could use narcotics investigators, child predator investigators. The list goes on. Yeah, we're making do with the best we can with the funding that we have, but we could always do better for this county if we had more law enforcement personnel.
Thank you, sir. Absolutely.
Ms. Woolley, we were discussing some of the different individual costs for our officers and deputies and all that stuff. And when I look at the budget, it's all grouped together, and I hate to ask you to do more work, but would you send me like how they break down for one officer? Because you said, the salary.
I can tell you. I got it because
Why does that not surprise me?
We had to do it for our, the school resource officer. They're paid a deputy salary, so if you'll give me just 1 minute, I can tell you exactly how much it is.
Just the breakdown of that I find interesting, that it costs more than what we think.
Yes, when you add the benefits aspect to it, so that when I was talking about the 10 detention officers, when you, that was with adding in their benefits, it would be over $600,000. So it adds up quite quickly.
Just cuts, are you talking about still those above the line expenses? Or are you talking about the uniform, the car, the gun, the belt, the bulletproof vest?
Yes, just what one deputy costs.
Now, I have it
Completely.
for their salary and benefits. This doesn't necessarily mean the uniform and an additional car. We can estimate those, but just 1 second. Okay, for just salary and benefits, their salary for a deputy right now, and this is with estimated overtime, also because we did that with the school resource officer position, would be approximately $48,000, and then with the benefits and everything altogether, it's right over $71,000. Now, a car and uniforms and things like that, Chief would have to tell you kind of a rough estimate on how much that would cost.
So if you look, we buy everything, well, in years past, we bought off state bid on vehicles, so that's the lowest of the low. Well, being where our funding's at, this last year, we bought all used vehicles. We didn't buy one brand-new vehicle. So that's running somewhere between 25, I would say 25 to 35. And a new car, bare, without being outfitted, it's gonna be 40s. You spend 8 to 10 on upfit for a vehicle. You could say a bulletproof vest and armor's 900 to 1,000, a gun's 700, 800. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, it's quite a bit to outfit one completely if you want to look from top to bottom plus salary. And to get in the car and hit the county.
It just shocked me when you sent me those numbers. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Just as any more discussion on Department 0400? All in favor of passing 1000.0400, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 1000.0418 County Jail on the table for discussion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? It's all personnel, except for other professional services, and the chunk, if not all of it, a majority of it is going to be turnkey. Is that right, Ms. Woolley?
All of 3009 is turnkey, and that will be paying for 8.5 months of the medical contract.
And that, yeah, and that is not all of turnkey. That is
No.
a portion of the turnkey. So if anyone wants to get into the jail medical business, there is money to be made.
Can you just clarify what you mean by turnkey?
Yes, ma'am. So, back, I don't remember what year it was. We had a doctor on our payroll. So we paid or contracted with a doctor and maybe a couple of nurses to provide medical services to our inmates. That is something we're constitutionally, statutorily, I don't know which one, required to do. Don't remember the story, whatever it was. The doctor was like, I'm out, not doing this anymore. The sheriff's office scrambled around trying to find how to fill this gap, and there's a company out there called Turnkey Medical, and that is what they do, is they provide medical services in the jail. I believe for the most part it is 2 people on staff or one person there.
I believe it's 2 RNs and then 2 RNs that are there, and then the doctor comes on a regular basis. I don't know what the schedule specifics are, but I can find them if you need me to.
They pass out medicines, they do the whole medical thing for the both Unit 1, Unit 2, and I assume juvenile
Yes.
as well. Yep. To answer your question, Justice Yorgi? All right. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Woolley, what would you say the entire contract is with Turnkey Medical? I mean, is it 900,000? Let's talk about next year.
Next year, for medical alone is 758,000 and change.
And then we have an additional add-on.
The mental health is 197 and change. And so together it's 956 and change. We are funding, like I said, 8.5 months of the medical out of this budget, or that's our request. The rest of the medical and all of the mental health is being budgeted out of one of our special revenue funds, which is 3017, jail operations and maintenance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have that under 3009?
Yes. That is the only expense that comes out of that.
Gives a contract. Is that contract,
It's already been filed with the.
and it's a yearly,
Yes,
it's a yearly
and
contract?
it went up 4.2%.
Any other discussion, justices, on the 0418 budget?
Can we go back to the doctor and a couple of nurses?
If you can find one.
Cost effective, and the county did benefit from being able to have the one we did for very long. But from our understanding and when we did our research, I know Chief personally did it, I believe, I'm only speaking personally, but I think because of liability purposes, individual doctors probably are not doing that type of services very much. And that's why they're going towards contract labor companies instead.
We had to use an RFQ to find a provider, and then, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had very limited response, almost none from individual practices.
I handed a packet out to every doctor's office.
Local.
In this county, including Conner Regional and Baptist.
Safe to say it's A, they're all busy, and B, they don't want to be in court. Fair enough.
One more question.
Yes, ma'am.
If I may. When I was looking at the overtime budgets, used to paper. Anyway, I can't find it. Yep, anyway, we always have so much overtime with the sheriff's department. And so when we look at all that, of course, we look at ways that we can reduce that number, if at all possible. What is our reasoning behind having so much overtime? Is it just staff shortages? And what would the impact be if we did not have the reserve unit?
So I would let Chief speak to the part about the reserve unit when he gets done, but I can speak to the overtime usage at least currently. So at this point, our jail staff, we have 6 vacancies currently, but earlier this year, about the summer months or so, we were trending more close to 15 to 20 positions. So we have been strongly trying to pursue new candidates and get those processed. It is a very tedious process to vet a new employee for a sheriff's office, whether it be on the patrol enforcement side or on the jail side. And so once we get all of that paperwork and everything done, then we get those positions filled as quickly as we can. And then other than that, there was some security measures that had to be addressed, that we needed extra supervision within our kitchen staff areas because of use of trustees and things like that at one point this year. And so because of that, there was some additional overtime that was added in there because of that. And then, but that has since changed, and we don't need that additional person in there to supervise at this point. So I believe that is also going to help. But just like I've told y'all before, I budget off of past to predict future, and try to watch the averages and know also what our current situations are with vacancies. And so we had originally asked for an additional 80,000 just based on our current use. We came forward to the court about mid-year this year and asked for 40,000 to be moved from our full-time salaries into our overtime in this budget. And then tonight, we came forward and asked to move, I think, approximately maybe 40 more. So that's why I'd originally asked for 80. But to make sure we met, countywide met the available appropriate, we took that out and are just asking for what we originally have right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion, justices? All in favor of passing 1000.0418, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to put Fund 1000.0433 jail juvenile grant on the table for discussion.
Second.
Any questions here, justices?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if you'll look on your revenue side, this is what comes from 3506, correct?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
the 20,000.
On your revenue side, down under Section 8, transfers from jail juvenile grant, 3506, $20,783 of this is reimbursed by jail juvenile grant.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor of passing 1000.0433, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
like to make a motion to put Fund 1801.0426 commissary on the table for discussion.
Second.
Just as this basically acts as a pass-through. So, got you.
That was my comment.
We buy things to put in the commissary. The inmates buy the things from the commissary.
This was set up 10 years ago or better?
Well, I've been doing it for 10 years, and
Yeah,
it was
so-
there when I got.
Okay, well, originally, when I got here, it had some different things in it. This is just, essentially, the revenue is just the cost of goods sold put back into it. The revenue goes in other places. Anything they make off of it goes not in this fund, so theoretically, the items that are in, the cost of the items in there plus the money in this fund should equal the same thing it is when it starts the year and ends the year. And it's just a pass-through.
Questions? All in favor of passing 1801.0426, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 1810.0418 county jail on the table for discussion.
Second.
This comes out of the $1 million annually in capital improvements that we put back. As a reminder, back in 2009, maybe? I don't know. Way back before am I wrong?
I'm sorry, I'm looking for
Capital
the,
improvement.
Fund 1810, our capital improvements.
passed it up.
So we passed a millage, none of us were here.
Yeah, so there was a .9 mil passage, and I can't tell you the number before I got here, for the Justice Building. They saved money for a while, then built the building with about $5 million a loan from First Security Bank. And then we paid that loan off early, and instead of putting that money back into county general operating, we said, let's take $1 million of that a year and put that into capital improvements. It's been used on a number of things throughout the years, some jail stuff. I think we put a new roof maybe on this building at one time. I think we may have bought a building and then was bought back from that fund in the past. And so some things like that over the years, it's been used for a number of different things, but all have been to improve these structures, these assets
Yep.
that we have, or add new assets.
Yep. We've got to take care of our buildings. You know, it kind of goes into a little bit of that maintenance, or like you said, adding new assets. In the lean years, we fought hard to keep this $1 million appropriated because we knew how important it was to save. This really kind of acts as the savings account that we can use with our county money. You know, we today I think 0.9 mils is equal to about $1.7 million. We continue to save $1 million a year in this capital improvements fund. And that's going to play, the money we've got in there right now is going to play a big part in helping to build our jail our $20 million jail that was. So right now, the projected revenue for the projected carryover fund balance for January 1st of 2026 is $7.5 million. So we've been able to continue to save. It's going to play a big part in building that county jail. I think this is a chunk of that. I would guess, for things that need to be done with that, but I just wanted to give a little bit of that history of how it's there.
Mr. Chair, just for a little perspective here, the roughly $17 million we're going to revenue this year, $1 million is roughly 5% of that. So we're essentially setting back five. Of course, $1 million when a $12 million revenue, we're setting back a bigger percentage of it. But that's roughly what you're setting back of current revenues every year is 5%. It's 5.8, I think, but round number.
So if I can add, this is not particular to the jail expansion.
Okay.
We came before the court in March of last year and asked for capital improvement funds to pay for camera system upgrades at both Unit 1 and Unit 2. Both of those camera systems have been paid for and installed. We are asking that we rebudget the amount not spent in building and improvements to handle for repairs and maintenance things that happen within Unit 1 and Unit 2 for next year. We had to decrease, and we'll talk about it in a minute, but we had to decrease our original budget we turned in early October in our sales tax fund for the jail. And so when we did that, one of the areas I cut in order to meet available to appropriate was our parts and repairs line items, our plumbing and electrical, our those kind of maintenance line items for our buildings. And I am hoping to look to this line item to handle what I can't pay for over there. I'm only going to shift and pay for stuff out of this when I run out of it in sales tax. This is what we had left over. But the 90,000 we did not rebudget. I did look at, that was originally budgeted 2 or 3 years back. It was even before Judge Thompson took office. There was a proposal for the architect study for the jail expansion, but that has since been paid out of, I believe, 1006, Fund 1006, which is the replacement ARP funding for the jail expansion. So that 90,000 has already been paid for, and so we don't need to rebudget it, and it didn't need to necessarily come out. That will actually be turned back this year by us. We won't need it. But the other amount, that's exactly what's left over right now. We would like to budget for repairs next year.
Justices, any questions? Sorry for the history lesson on 1810, but I just wanted to make sure we touched on that. Yeah. All in favor of passing 1810.0418, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And I'm going to pause just a second before we move on, because
Yes,
I
ma'am.
just realized that we got interrupted and I moved a little too fast, and my other question didn't get answered with
Oh, yeah.
Chief Deputy. What I was asking about was the overtime is always such a huge expense, and I wanted to know what the ways in which that we could reduce that cost. And I know one of the ways that you and I have discussed previously was maybe starting one of the programs through the high schools of a
Right.
criminal justice or criminal law enforcement first responder type course, and I still would be very interested in working with you on that. If
Yeah,
you're,
I still have a file on that.
interested. But my other question was about our reserve unit.
Okay.
What's the impact on overtime of our reserve unit?
So I'm not sure I could put a dollar amount to that. I can tell you, and I started out as reserve nearly 20 years ago. A lot's progressed since then. The reserve unit 20 years ago is not the reserve unit of today. But they, in all honesty, as far when we talk about overtime, when we talk about vacancies, the reserve unit has saved the county lots of dollars. They've been able to fill in gaps when, law enforcement as a whole was struggling here a few years ago, just across the nation, and there was shortages of law enforcement. Our reserve stepped in. They were taking calls. They were working the streets. We've had some larger events going on the last few weekends that we've been paying close attention, and I've been fortunate to work with these guys. And not this weekend, but the last weekend, there was 14 of them out each day, helping patrol and visual deterrent, and just making a present, just make sure everything was safe.
You said 14?
There was 14 out each night. Yes, ma'am.
14 at 71.5?
Do what?
If we paid them, yes,
If we
ma'am.
paid them?
Yeah, there was 14 out each night with us.
Volunteers.
Right.
But I only offered a couple full-time guys. Because you gotta look at overtime. And then, not just personnel and maybe salaries, but, technology. These guys have brought a drone program to the county that we haven't been able to afford so far, but they work their butts off through the private sector or however, and they've brought a lot to us, and they're valuable. And it's hard to put an actual dollar amount to what they would have saved us, but I can tell you it'd be a lot.
Do they
So-
cost us anything? Do we fund them out of our, any of our line items? Do we fund them at all?
No, ma'am, we don't fund them.
No
We try to-
guns, no,
We try to help them
Nothing.
as much as possible. We had tried to work some things in this year. It just, the funding wasn't there, so we had to pull it out. We have, we bought them a truck, I think last year, maybe the year before. So we try to help, but not as much as I would like. So,
okay, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 1810, is that where we are? No, next one. 3007.0438 Sheriff's Automation on the table for discussion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of passing 3007.0438, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to put Fund 3015.0425 Drug Control on the table for discussion.
Second.
All right, this is being zeroed out. Any discussion? All in favor of passing 3015.0425, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3017.0439 on the table for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Woolley, can you talk about this revenue source? Or-
So this is from, we've had a big presentation of this at one point. It's the jail fines and fees. Some people call them fines, some call them fees. But that's where the revenue comes in. And so we make sure that we budget, anything we budget out of that is strictly for jail operations. And so what we're asking for this year is for the, sorry, I flipped to the wrong tab. So this would pay for the other 3.5 months of medical, for that medical turnkey contract, and then the whole 12 months of mental health is what this is. Our original ask in October was to split it 50/50 between county general and this fund. But because of meeting available to appropriate, we had to cut this fund approximately $56,000. So that's why we asked for, although we gave back our overtime money, we asked for it in county general on those departments, we had to increase that other professional services line item when we saw that we didn't meet available to appropriate here, so.
And the budget request is still about $50,000 over our projected revenue, but we do have a fund balance that we're carrying over from last year that we're digging into. Just, it's not a problem this year. Any questions? All in favor of passing 3017.0439, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3018.0437 County Detention Facility on the table for discussion.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor of passing 3018.0437, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3405.024 Federal Drug Forfeiture on the table for discussion.
Second.
All right. Any questions? Getting a lot of special revenue funds. Let's see. Oh, this one's zeroed out. Good. Saving $1.64. All in favor of passing 3405.0427, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
I'd like to make a motion to put
Is that what?
Fund 3407.0421 Criminal Justice Sales Tax Jail on the table for discussion.
Second.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
like we've talked about sales tax projections for next year. Do
Yeah,
you just
Yeah.
mention it real quick?
Yeah.
So, I think you kind of heard me say earlier, we might get to 15 million this year in sales tax revenue. Don't know that we're 100% going to get there. Typically, for those who've not been through this before, what I do on sales tax projections, and it's really because of this fund and it's their only real revenue source. I don't want to over-project sales tax revenue. If anything, I want to under-project it. I think of the time I've been here, we've had 1 year where we did not meet projections, and of course, it cost everybody. So we're going to project $14.8 million next year for sales tax. I feel pretty confident that we'll make that number, but we don't typically project increases in sales tax from year to year due to the fact that we do not want to be short on it. And it's because of this fund, and it's like I said, it's really, they have some interest revenue, but it's really the revenue of this fund. So that's why it's where it is and why we are doing. Now, I'll say that to say this: sales tax revenues have increased dramatically over the last 6 years, and I believe we talked about that last month in our budget and finance meeting. So that is right now, it is the growingest revenue that we have. If the growingest is a word. A lot of that comes, on the heels of the COVID and through like that. We are starting to level off, but I've really, just year after year, I expect a downturn, but we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it at all. So that's just my little quick thing on sales tax revenue.
To Scott's point, back in, just from the report he gave earlier tonight, back in 2019, $9.5 million of sales tax revenue, where fast forward to 2025, we're going to be knocking on 15 million, so that's at least a $5 million increase, in 6 years. Any questions on this budget? All in favor of passing 3407.0421, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3511.0436 Court Security Grant on the table for discussion.
Second.
I know we skipped at least one we'll have to go back to,
I
but
skipped it?
Yeah.
it's all right. We can do 3511 right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, this is zero budget. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor of passing 3511.0436, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just real quickly, and I don't know if y'all went through any grant budgets last night or not, but on grant budgets, if we are not almost 100% certain that we are going to get that grant funding, we do not budget it
Okay.
during budget time.
Okay.
When they know they're getting the grant funding, they will come at that point and ask for the appropriation.
Okay.
You'll probably see a lot of these grants are zeros.
We have budget money in that fund currently, but that grant ends December 31st. So we have to have the rest of it spent. We would have already spent it, but the items are on back order. So we're waiting to be able to get the invoice for that and pay for those. So, but technically, we're supposed to have it all closed out and, everything done by December 31st. So that's why we're not asking for additional. We would have to request to be awarded a new grant if we had, for this one in particular.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So which one did I skip? For 13?
0436.
There are two of them, they're just, one's 3407,
That
one's
one.
3511.
Okay.
Yeah.
My papers are 2025, and so it's thrown me off.
Yeah, that's fine.
3407.0436.
.0436.
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3407.0436 on the table for discussion.
Second.
They have two budgets in criminal justice sales tax. One is the jail, and this one is sheriff's budget. And they're both the sheriff's budget. You know what I'm saying? Any questions on this one? Any discussion on this one? All in favor of passing 3407.0436, say aye. Any opposed?
The next one is, I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3413.0801. Is that correct? No,
That's sole conservation.
3513.
0513.
0513, JAG grant, on the table for discussion.
Second.
Any discussion, justices?
If I can add, so that grant, just one second, let me get to it. I wrote myself a note. That grant actually overlaps years. Here we go. That grant ended by September 30th of 2027. We had, for this year, we had budgeted 34,791. We've already expended 29,930 and 69 cents, and we just requested, it's a reimbursement grant, we just requested the reimbursement drawdown for that 29,000. It should hit the treasurer's account tomorrow for that, but the 4,860.31 is what is left from our grant award that we still have to purchase those items, but we have until September of 2027 to expend them.
Justice, any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
because on this one, it's showing in the red, I'm guessing that will just be updated then since they have that. Okay.
Yep, when the funds are received.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just a general question. She was saying that we appropriated, what, $37,000 in that this year?
It was an amendment to our budget earlier this year when we were awarded the grant, so it was an original budget.
Sure, yeah, so this is just a general question. When we're looking at this first columns in here, is this the original appropriations, or is this appropriations as amended?
It would be the original appropriations back in 2025. I don't think it is the appropriations as amended. Is that correct, Sarah?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
So to see appropriations as amended, we would have to look in the statement of operations or?
Yes, that would show in the statement of operations. Good question. Good question. Just as any more questions on JAG grant? All in favor of passing 3513.0513, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Right, I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3516.0445, the LLEBG grant, on the table for discussion.
Second.
Zero budget. Any discussion? All in favor of passing 3516.0445, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3526.0400, public safety equipment grant for the sheriff's department, on the table for discussion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Some of these grants, I think I overheard your question maybe. Some of these grants have been grants that we've had in the past, so like for this one example, for example, the last time we were awarded this grant and spent money out of it was in 2023, but the way that the treasurer's office has to report things, I think because of leg audit, and he can speak to that, is why it's there for a 0 and 0.
Gotcha.
Yeah, actually, Tom Anderson brought it to my attention a few years ago. If we have any fund that has money sitting in it, we have to go through this process and put it in the book, essentially. So you're going to see a lot of, like I said, you're going to see a lot of zero requests here, but those funds are set there or set aside when grants do come through. They're there to put them in, so we don't have to create new funds for those.
Any more discussion? All in favor of passing 3526.0400, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3527.0450, I'm not even going to read all those letters, for the sheriff's department, on the table for discussion.
Second.
All right. Any questions, justices? Yep. Zeroing this one out. All in favor of passing 3527.0450, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're getting close.
Getting close. I'd like to make a motion to put Fund 3531.0400, sheriff, on the table for discussion.
All right, justices, any questions here? This is the rapid DNA grant that we talked about this past year, I believe, this year? Yeah.
Summer or spring?
questions here? How's that been going? How's rapid DNA been going in the jail over there, Chief Deputy?
So Rapid DNA is installed in booking. They are still in the testing phase where our lucky booking lieutenant has to swab himself and run the test. And I was like, well, sir, I hope for the rest of your life you don't ever do anything because your DNA's
We
on file.
got you.
But it's up and running in our booking. We're still waiting on the FBI and the crime lab to release the okay to start the investigative machine. But the jail, the booking station is up and running.
So we're just waiting on them.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
I
Just-
actually have a request.
Yeah.
Sorry. So we have a pending invoice that we need to pay out of this grant. This grant is kind of a little bit different, that we will not upload and submit a claim to be paid to a vendor until we request our drawdown. Because of the sheer amount that this grant was, it was $1 million grant. So we have one invoice that is pending. It actually was a part of a transfer request in tonight's budget, line item for budget and finance, I mean. So I need to reduce the, let me look, hold on just one second. I need to reduce the amount in 3093 by that $5,610.41. So if you give me just a second, I can do the math and tell you what it would be. Okay, so in 3093, we need it to be 147,599.16.
So may I have a motion?
So, just
That's
a
what,
point of clarification, the version I'm seeing in the documents online shows the same amount.
Same amount.
Just noted.
Okay, so maybe,
Different than-
okay, that's why I thought that I had, I couldn't remember. We have like 17 budgets, so it's a lot, but
So
I
no,
knew that we had that one
yeah, it
pending.
shows it's correct.
So we don't need a
Okay.
motion.
good.
So I
Perfect.
want to make sure, because that up there did not show it, so I wanted to make sure we reduced it. Or I would have to address it next year, so I don't want to overspend.
Because what I'm looking at is old stuff too, so I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we got 147 here.
Yeah, that's wrong. This is right.
Yeah, from the website.
So the tablets, right?
Yes.
Good,
Sorry.
Randy.
All in favor of passing 3531.0400 as presented on the tablet, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. I do not have anything else on my agenda.
I have one other clarification that I just realized. Question for Deputy Woolley. You said 14 reserve officers were working that Saturday night, but how many do we have total? Because when I started doing the math, it was 14, but that's only the amount that were working that particular night, correct?
Yes, I believe we have 17.
We have 17 total.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's all.
Justices, we have, let's see, tonight we tabled, I believe, 3 budgets into Thursday, along with the other 6 that we tabled last night. So we will pick that up Thursday. I believe that's our only order of business, as well as you having to listen to my narrative on budget methodology in general.
Tyler,
Yes.
can I add just one thing?
Yes.
Just give an understanding, so when we turned in our original budget in October, we weren't told to add any COLA. We knew that the county always tries to project that and everything, but our original budgets did not entail that. We just addressed our original expenses increases and things like that. So when we got our available to appropriate, we had to cut approximately $500,000 from our sales tax request. So just know that there are additional problems and things that need to be addressed within our department that we don't have funding to address within our sales tax, that we very well could have to come before the court and ask for out of county general or something like that at some point. I just want to make that known because we have had to make compromises. To just take on a 3% COLA for our 3 departments that we pay for staff in county general was $185,000 and change. And then to take on a 3% COLA for the 2 departments that we pay people out of in sales tax was $132,000. So $185,000 for 3% on county general and $132,000 on sales tax. So we want to make sure that happens for our existing employees, but that strongly changed what we had to do for our original request in sales tax and also addressing expenses. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, just Jory.
I have another question about budgets generally and salaries. At our previous forum court meetings in October, we were talking about the extra 27-page thing. As far as I have seen, there is nothing in our 2026 budgets for the discussed set aside of, whatever fraction it is of all the salaries. So where
Yeah.
does that stand at this point?
Right now, you're correct. That the discussion of every 13th year or whatever it is that we have to pay an extra payroll. You're right. That's not addressed in this budget right now as far as that set aside goes. I mean, when we put it all together, projections were very, the amount of wiggle room we were working with was very minimal, and everything. I'll just pass to the judge to see if he has any thoughts or comments on it, just to see if you do. I don't know if you.
No, it's every 11 years, and I mean,
We don't do 11th every year, then every other year you need to do, a 5th or something. Or else somebody at some point is going to have to come up with that. Right now, we could afford it. We're not in dire straits, but the economy goes up and down. I mean, pendulum swings, and the prudent thing to do is set aside 11th of a salary every year. So whether, I don't know if the treasurer or county clerk would suggest creating a line item for that, or if AEC or Leg Audit have given any guidance on that, or if anybody else has even ever thought of that. It just seems like a prudent thing to do.
So just doing quick numbers. I mean, I think our expense was somewhere around $800,000. I don't remember what the total expense was on that payroll. I just did $800,000 divided by 11 is $72,000 and some change. So I think we could work with the treasurer and talk about, do we create another fund? Do we create something akin to our capital improvement fund, that acts as a savings account for us where we can squirrel away? And that's going to stair step up as our personnel expenditures stair step up as well every year. So yes, I mean, you're correct. It's not addressed in this budget at the moment, but it's something we could probably look at and maybe talk about for Thursday, if y'all want to do that. Now that we know where we sit with everything. Sound good? All right. Any other questions, Justice? All right, I believe we're set for Thursday at 6:30. We'll see y'all then. Meeting adjourned.